Do you know who the best salespeople are? Your kids. I don't know if you have kids, but when one of your kids wants something, they will harass you until you get it for them. And if you don't get it for them, be patient because you might hear about it for a long, long period of time. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 myths that people tell you about selling. Hi, my name is Fabienne Raphaël. I'm a business coach for high achievers and I help you monetize your knowledge so you can fire your boss. And today I want to talk to you about myths that people...
Sorry.
That's so funny. That was Richard sneezing. All right, so 5 myths that I want to share with you about selling. First of all, because you're a coach and you're getting started, you might be very intimidated with like the whole sales copy or the whole marketing that has to do with how you communicate with your audience. And a lot of people are letting you know that copy is extremely important prior to the person taking the phone call with you. Okay, so let me set up that straight. Copy is important, but is it really what's the most important? Not necessarily. What's important for you to do is to have a great relationship with the person you're talking to on the phone or on the Zoom call or live, right? So think in terms of relationship and instead of thinking in terms of copy. Because if you focus too much about what you wrote before, then you're taking your energy away from what's happening right now, which is, being present for your client, listening to their concerns, listening to where they're at, and really showing that you're the right solution for them and for their problems to be solved, okay? So copy, yes, is important, but is it really what you should only focus on? No, because sometimes your copy might be so-so prior to bring that person to a sales call with you, and then building the conversation up and the relationship while you realize that, okay, this is the perfect fit and you are the right person to help that person, okay? Second thing that they tell you about sales, and that is not necessarily true, is the script. Okay, so to have everything scripted and to say everything out of something that you read on your computer. For example, you're on a Zoom call and you have that Google Doc right there with all the questions and all the exact words that you have to use. Well, I agree and I don't agree with that. I feel that it's important for you to have like a guideline of what you're going through during the sales process, but I don't feel that you should always use the same words to express the different things that you need to express. Why? Because everyone's different. And why? Because everyone's doesn't process the information the same way. Plus, if you're really listening to the conversation, well, the conversation might lead you to ask one question this way instead of this way. Right? So scripting, yes, is important, but is it really like you have to use the exact same words all the time? I don't believe in that. The third myth that I wanted to share to you about sales is that you have to do all the talking. And I think that this comes from the old days of, the used car seller, talking a lot and not necessarily letting you have one word of what you want and what you're looking for. And he just wants you to buy the car, right? And it's funny because it happened to me, I would say, it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago when we were looking for a new car and we went to this place where they sell new cars. And the seller, he just kept talking to us about, about the car, about the engine, about a lot of things that were not interesting to us, and actually killed the sale. Because when someone talks too much, it just like takes all the attention away from, okay, what I'm looking for compared to what the person is providing as an information. And that's why you have such an unfair advantage when you're more of a listener on a sales call than you are a talker. Because when you are a listener, well, you take great care of evaluating what the person is expressing, and you are making sure that all these concerns are being covered, by what you're going to do to help the person. So how you're going to serve the person, right? So if you do too much talking, well, you're killing it you're killing the sale. And I remember one of my mentors expressing that, she was hiring someone to do renovations in her home, and then she had really made a decision to buy. And then after she said yes, the person taking care of those renovations was still talking, was still selling. But actually the sale was done. And what happened is that she withdrew. Like, she decided not to take his services anymore because she found it very annoying. Okay. So bottom line, whenever you are in a sales situation, be more of a listener than a talker. If you talk too much, well, you might kill it all the time. Okay. Fourth thing, always be closing. Never let any prospect go away and, convince them that you are the right person to help them out. Okay, that is completely false because you don't want to do business with everyone, right? Of course, the more that your process is on point, the more you will attract on your calls people that are a great fit to work with you. So if that is the case, good for you. But there are certain times where, one person slips out of the perfect client that you're looking for, and then you're on the phone with someone who doesn't fit your values, someone that you can't really help, someone who doesn't have the right attitude towards your work or whatsoever. And then because it's a prospect, you have to close that person? No, actually. And that's the beauty of being in business for yourself, is that you have the luxury to choose who you want to work with. And if that person doesn't fit the criteria that you put for your perfect client and for the person that you could really deliver results to, well, you just refer that person to someone else, or you say, well, I don't think we're a great fit. And if you don't know anyone, well, you say you don't know anyone. So it happened to me lately, someone that really wanted to work with me. And then I said, well, this is not my area of expertise, but here is that person who you can connect with, and that will be the perfect fit to get to where you want to go. Right? So yeah, it happens that you refuse clients, and bottom line, it's better not only for you, but also for the person and for your reputation. Because if you take on a client because you're in need mode, and then you're starting to actually realize that, oh, it's not your area of expertise, and you want to learn more about this area of expertise, but then you're not really passionate about it, so you're not motivated and you're not getting the results expected, well, bottom line, it ends up being a very disappointed client and a very disappointed coach. And it might even influence your self-confidence and all that stuff. So don't worry about it. If it's not a great fit, just say no. Okay. And finally, the last one, the one that I really repel, is when people say that you have to convince someone to do business with you. So the word convincing, this is where my problem is. To me, I feel that selling should be natural. Okay, so if the person expresses something and if they feel that you're the right person to help them out, well, naturally the sale will happen. I don't think that you have to push it, because when you push, to me, it's the impression that, someone's putting some power and the other one is receiving it and not necessarily standing in their power. So basically, it's like the big word would be abuse, but I don't want to use abusing. But again, it's as if you're forcing something that is not meant to happen. Sometimes it's the energy doesn't fit. Sometimes it's the result that you want to give the person. The person is not really sure about it. And sometimes it's just because you're not in a position where you're skilled enough in the sales calls to express very well to the person that you are the right person to help her or him out. Okay. But the whole thing about convincing, I feel that it might leave both of the parties bitter, especially the person that was sold to, because she felt or he felt trapped or something. And you really want that to feel natural for both people. So, you can start that relationship the right way, especially if you're going to be coaching that person for a while, for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year. Can you imagine if on the first call you had to push to get their approval or their understanding of the stuff? So I feel that if you have to drag the person in, well, you will have to drag that person in like all the way during all the coaching program that you're going to do with them. So you might as well let them go at the beginning. Don't worry. I mean, the world is filled with plenty of people and everyone has an audience for them. And it's just a matter of expressing your true values, who you are, what you can do, what you can bring to the marketplace, and then you will attract the right people for your business. So convincing a client, strongly disagree with that because it will leave you, not only you, but your client bitter, and then it's not a great way to start the relationship. Okay, so these were the 5 myths that they told you about sales. If you have opinions on, other myths that they have been telling you about, I'm curious to hear them, to read them. So put them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.